So I've just got back from the gym and I am having a really bad day of training, but it's fine because I know why it is. I know a fair amount about training around my cycle now, but today something just felt really wrong. I was really out of breath. I'm still out of breath and I'm showing like lots of signs of kind of an iron deficiency or like a lack of iron, which typically does happen around like a couple days before my period. So I've been to the shops and I've got some food and I'm also going to talk about how my cycle affects my training and how that might relate to you or any females that you know in your life. Obviously everybody is different and the research on this is very limited, which is frustrating, but figuring it out for yourself, it can get a lot easier. I'm going to apologise quickly to any vegans because this is not particularly vegan friendly, although both are from like free range farms and well looked after animals, and I grew up on a free range farm myself, so that's something I really care about. My body's craving iron and I messaged my nutritionist Chloe. I typically crave black pudding. Let me know in the comments below if you know what that is. So I'm just editing this video and I found out that black pudding is technically like banned in the US. Like you're not allowed to import it unless you make it yourself or somebody makes it locally. You can't have it, it's like illegal. So weird. It probably seems really weird to anybody that doesn't eat it, but it is very normal here in the UK. I had no idea it was like semi-illegal though. I think it's an English thing. I think it's typically only England that tend to eat this, and it is like an old-timey food, but we still eat it regularly in breakfast, and I have it like once a month, usually around this time. Almost like a sausage that they cut into like small disc shapes, and it's literally like oats and pig's blood, but it's kind of like a sausagey flavour. It's very like meaty tasting, and it's super high in iron, and my body just always massively craves it, and like the rest of the month I would never want to eat it. It's not something that I particularly like in other times of the month, but right now my body is literally screaming for it. And I've also got some orange juice because I was craving it as well, but after speaking to Chloe who does my nutrition, she said that having like an iron source along with vitamin C helps the absorption of the iron and will like help me recover better more quickly. Yes, I could eat green veggies, which I have regularly. I had spinach for my breakfast, but I feel like I just need like a higher dose of iron, and this is just what my body's craving, and I've got so good at listening to it. So I'm going to cook up some of that for lunch, and then I'll talk to you about how my cycle really affects my training, because today is one of those days where it's absolutely crushed me. I've got like a bunless burger, which is a prep kitchen meal, and they're like healthy balanced meals with like carbs, fats and proteins, all the right amounts, which is cool. I get the like fat loss versions just so I can add other things to them, because I don't like these to be like all I can have. I like to add like another carbohydrate source or like something else to it. So today I'm going to add the black pudding, and then I'm going to fry off the black pudding in the pan. I think I'll do 2. Right, I'm gonna go and have this and see if it has any impact at all on how I'm feeling. That's what the black pudding looks like. It literally just looks like a bit of meat. Oh my god, that really helped. You know when you like eat something that your body really needs and then you just get this like kind of feeling of relief? I feel like that's exactly what I needed. I'm still kind of recovering from how I was feeling earlier. That was mad. I felt like I was just exhausted, so drained, and this only really happens like once a month, like the couple of days before my period. But I'll start from the start and what my training looks like through my menstrual cycle. So I came off hormonal birth control about 2 years ago now, and it's changed quite a lot for me. I feel like mentally a lot better. When I was on birth control, I felt like I had this like cloud of depression constantly. It was just affecting my mood in a really negative way. When I came off it, I just really noticed this difference in my mood, my anxiety levels, and although like I do fluctuate quite a lot with my anxiety and I still suffer with it, it's not as like constant as it was before. I just had this constant level of like feeling rubbish in my mood and also like extreme tiredness. And how I felt on hormonal contraceptives is exactly how I feel in the last few days of my cycle. So it's like I at least get like the relief that I get in the first half, and I think that was because I was on like progesterone only pills. I know everybody's different, but I tried literally everything hormonal and none of it worked. But I'm probably quite a unique case because I've got a mood disorder and it does affect that, and they told me not to go on it. I probably should never have been on it in the first place. So if you don't know, this is what a woman's menstrual cycle looks like from the hormone perspective. Day 1 is always your period. That can last for several days, up to about 7 I think, but most people are like 3 to 5 day range. And then you have a lot of estrogen up until the day when you ovulate, and then after that you have like quite a peak in progesterone. Those fluctuations can really impact how you feel. So day 1 for me, the first day of my period, is not actually that bad. I really notice that shift when you get a hell of a lot more estrogen, and I feel loads more energy. I feel like I want to go and smash it in the gym. There's also been some research to say that pain tolerance is higher around the time when you're on your period, and I buy into that totally, and that's definitely the time where I can like really push it from like day 1 up to about day 14 for me. I have loads of energy, and my Whoop always tells me I've got a high strain tolerance during that phase, which is the follicular phase. And then like around ovulation, which for me is normally around day 14, that's when your strength can peak. You're most likely to hit PBs. I find I can hit PBs at any point in my cycle. It doesn't massively impact my strength apart from in the later phase. So I talk a lot on my Instagram about day 15 because it always seems to come up and just completely ruin my training. So I always feel like really uncoordinated. I have really bad anxiety, like my anxiety really peaks. Anything like Olympic lifts, like that all goes massively downhill. Like if I have to snatch on day 15, it's gonna be a bad snatch day. So I also eat different amounts of calories in different stages of my cycle. So in my follicular phase at the moment, I eat slightly less calories than I do in my luteal phase. And I'm in a deficit in both of them. It's just you burn more calories during your luteal phase, so we account for that. And a lot of the time I also eat different foods to support hormonal health throughout my cycle as well, but this month I've definitely let that go, and maybe the last couple of months I've been a bit slack on that. So after day 15, my coordination goes out the window. I'm a bit more mobile. I feel like I'm just a bit wobblier and my joints feel a little bit less stable, and I know that's something to do with the hormone change, and it does apparently increase mobility. It also increases risk of injury as well, I've heard that. Whoop did an amazing podcast with Stacey Sims. She is incredible, and she said a lot of the injury risk around that part of our cycle is because we've not been taught like how to manage it properly. So actually if a lot of us learn how to manage working out in that part of our cycle, the injury risk wouldn't be increased. But for me, I definitely notice a difference in my CrossFit training. Day like 16 onwards to about day 24, I don't really notice a massive difference. I definitely see like a dip in my energy levels. I find like high intensity stuff slightly harder. I feel like I don't have as much go as I do in the first half, so I'm more likely to suffer like more like inflammation in my legs and have really bad DOMs from a workout. If I push it really hard, I'm more likely to feel like I need a lot of rest. What I tend to do is in the later stage of my luteal phase, so like day 23 to day 29, I'll start to manage my intensity a lot more and like stop being so hard on myself if I feel like the session didn't go as planned. So if I feel like I'm not as strong or like the intensity isn't there, then that's okay, and I'll also allow myself to like take it down. So if I just want to give like 50% effort, then I'll allow myself to do that. That does rarely happen because I often just go into a workout and want to absolutely send it. And in the like very late stage of my luteal phase, so that is like day 26 to day 30 potentially, because my cycle usually ranges from 28 to 30 days, that's where it starts to get really hard. I start to feel like out of breath. I start to experience, I think we've realised it's like a dip in iron. Obviously your body is like preparing like the lining of your womb, etc., so you're using up a lot of your iron stores, and I think my body just feels it really significantly, so I tend to crave stuff like black pudding like I did this morning. If you've ever been low in iron, you'll know what it feels like, but it's just like this kind of dragging feeling, and like you're really out of breath and you can't get enough oxygen in. I really do feel that, and I also feel like a decrease in my strength. Today my pull-ups felt really bad and I had to add an extra band. We were doing like rounds of 10 strict pull-ups, and there's no way I can do 10 strict pull-ups, especially for several rounds, so I had to add on more bands than normal, and even then they felt weak, and the wall ball felt really heavy. Everything just felt difficult. And during the session today I really got into my head and I felt really annoyed at myself that I was like slacking and letting myself down because I wasn't trying hard enough, or I thought I'd lost all my fitness because I took a week off like the other week, when actually none of that's true, because when I finished the session I looked at my phone, figured out where I was in my cycle, lo and behold it's day 29. And then I got on my phone to Chloe and I was like, Chloe, I feel like shit, like what can I do to change this? And she's given me all of these ideas of what foods I can eat, and I went shopping and got the black pudding. But I think today would have been one of those days where I could have gone swimming, or I could have walked the dog, I could have done something slightly lower intensity just for that one day a month where I feel like absolute rubbish, like in the few days before my period. It's normally like one training session, and I think moving forward the way I'm going to train around my cycle is I'm going to look at things in like a 4-week cycle and really try and make the most of that first 15 days, and then in the later stage really stick to that like 4-day-a-week training. And then maybe, because I'm finding that I really want to do more training sessions, I want to do like a barbell session in the evening when I've already trained in the morning. I'm going to allow myself to do that all in the earlier stage, so like day 1 to 15. But I would definitely recommend listening to the Whoop podcast with Stacey Sims, and I'll leave the link below to that. That's amazing. And Whoop also helps you track your cycle, so if you have a menstrual cycle then Whoop is a really good tool to help you work out where you can push it, where you might expect to have like a lower strain tolerance. So previously to this I was constantly burning myself out and training like 6 times a week, and I definitely wouldn't have paid attention to my cycle or listened to my body in any way, shape or form. When I started CrossFit, I was just like full send 24/7, completely destroying my body, and I just got really into it and really excited, but I was also struggling with an eating disorder at the same time, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. If you're interested in hearing more about that and my full journey within CrossFit, watch this video next. If you like this video, please fist bump that like button because it helps support me and my channel in the algorithm. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.